Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the RSL Nation Lions Den podcast brought to you by Nobody. Nobody sponsoring RSL Nation since 2005. Proud sponsor of ours. We're here today to briefly discuss the MLS Super Draft. Um, RSL has drafted UNC defender Boyd Okwuno. Devin, can you help me with this
Uh,
pronunciation?
I call him Boyd. That's what I'm
Let's
going to
go
go
with
with, at least until I get to know him a little bit better. Understand? I don't know, because yeah, Boyd is the best I got.
Boyd Okwuonu. Anyways, we selected him in the first round of the MLS draft, it sounds
Second round.
like. It was the
Nope,
second
second
round?
round, 27th pick.
27th pick. And if memory serves me correctly from a few hours ago, you originally had the 16th pick overall. We
Yep.
traded that to our former beloved GM, Garth Lagavay, and his new company called the Seattle Sounders.
Oof.
And they went on and picked whom?
Roldan, the guy that was expected to go number 2 overall in the draft.
Isn't that just, I mean, that's just beautiful how that worked out. Of course, according to RSL front office, we actually got the player we really wanted. So,
Take that as you
joke's
will, I
on
guess.
you.
Yeah.
Joke's on you, Garth. And in exchange, we also got some allocation money. Any other word on what else we got from them?
I believe that was it. It was just allocation money, of course, because of MLS. They don't tell you how much, but we just get money. So apparently we have a bunch of that now. Hopefully we go and actually do something with it.
I was going to say, does it feel like we're hoarding allocation money at this point?
At the moment, like I keep thinking about it, we keep trading players away, and all we're getting is money. So I'm hoping that they have some like grand plan, because it just kind of seems like, well, we got a lot of money, yay us.
Yeah, we have a lot of not even real money; it's allocation money. And
Allocation money,
allocation
yep.
money, if I'm correct, serves basically it counts against your cap, so you can pay more for your players. So we either want to give raises to everyone that's currently on the payroll, or
Yep.
we're making a move on somebody big sometime soon.
Yep.
Well, that's beyond the point right now. The purpose of today's discussion is the following. My point is, I'm saying that the MLS draft is the most overrated thing the MLS has ever done, and specifically for the purposes of Real Salt Lake. I think we can completely do away with the draft, and RSL will be just fine, if not better off. Um, to be fair, I'm not a big fan of the draft in any sport, in any league. I just don't think you should force a player to go to a team they don't wish to go to. And to back my point up, I have pulled up an article posted by the RSL Soapbox by Mr. Craig Asay, and that was posted on January the 14th of this year. He lists RSL's top 5 super draft picks of all times. And at number 1 comes in Tony Beltran. Tony Beltran, very good pickup. I can see why he will be a top 5. He was picked number 3 in the 2008 Super Draft. Number 2, he has Chris Schuler. We picked Chris Schuler in the with the 39th pick in 2010. After that, we drop off pretty significantly, and number 3, he lists Jeff Attinella. Number 4, Sebastian Velasquez, and number 5, Gene Alexander. Anyone even remember Gene Alexander anymore? I don't know. My point is this. We could have picked up each of these players without a super draft. I don't think the super draft serves us, RSL, or the league any good. It just feels like one of those things we carried over from one of the other leagues because we didn't know what else to do. You disagree?
Okay, I actually kind of do, and I didn't last year. This has been a change of like all of a year. So personally, I feel like, especially now that we have RSL Monarchs, we have the Monarchs. This is a perfect opportunity to have a draft, because in theory, that's what the Monarchs are there for. You draft a guy, you have them play with the Monarchs for a year or two. If they don't cut it with the Monarchs, you let them go. If you find a gem like a Chris Schuler, then there you go. They have an opportunity to grow. They have an opportunity to mature, to develop, to not necessarily be pressured into having to play. I mean, basically, no offense, but the reserve league was kind of a joke. And so, like, I
Hmm.
mean, really, there was before, I felt like there was no reason to have the draft. And that really, if you were not in the starting 11, you were not part of the group, it was going to be a tough road for you. Now, I mean, we have places, we have spots we need to fill, we have players that need to go there. I personally feel like the draft is actually something that could help us. I was watching the live feed today, and as part of the live feed, they had one of the arguments that people were talking about was, do we need a draft? And Matt Doyle from MLS Insiders was the guy that was kind of like answering the questions and stuff, and he brought up a good point. I mean, the United States is so big that every single MLS, NASL, USL Pro team could have an academy, and there would still be kids that fell through the cracks. Are they going to be like the Landon Donovans, Clint Dempsey's of the world? More than likely not. But I mean, MLS, especially where we're an economic league, our whole teams aren't going to be filled with those type of players. You need the players that are going to play roles and they're going to do the things that they need to do to help a team actually be successful in the long run, instead of being, the flash in the pan type players, I guess.
No, I understand that, and I'm all for development of players. I'm all for picking up young players. I'm all for picking up players who are otherwise overlooked. Like you said, you can find those gems out there. Chris Schuler is a perfect example. 39th overall pick, 38 picks before that. No one thought he was going to amount to much, which is why they didn't
Right.
pick him. And look at him now; he's our starting center back. Now, I do believe you're making a big mistake by assuming that if it wasn't for the draft, these players would never be picked up. Um, Remember, most teams have academies. We have had an
Right.
academy for a long time now, and as you mentioned, we have the Monarchs now as well. So it does not mean that simply because a player doesn't get picked up in the draft, he is going to not have a future anywhere in the league. You can have the same players picked up in other ways that does not include a draft. A draft almost feels forced to me.
Okay.
Why am I wrong?
Well, okay, so to me, like if, and this is going to get into a whole much bigger topic. In a way, it is kind of forced, but in a way, that's MLS. I mean, if you look at like the reentry draft, you look at the fact that they don't actually allow free agency, that you have to be, allocation order. The whole point of the league is that because it's single entity, it is all a little bit forced. And in a way, I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe this is the way the league's going, but in a way, I feel like that actually benefits RSL because we're not the LAs of the world. We're not the New Yorks of the world that have the money or have the city. And so people come and play for us. And it's once they come and play for us, you hear all the time the players saying they wouldn't want to be anywhere else because they love it here. However, I bet if you were to ask most of the players before they got traded here or when they got traded here or picked up, they're probably all a little skeptical because, I mean, Salt Lake has the stigma. And so this is a way that I think it allows RSL to compete because in a way it is kind of forced. And I mean, if they're really unhappy, RSL especially has shown that they're willing to do what it takes to get people to where they either want to be or in a way that benefits them as well.
Very good point. I don't think we'll find we'll agree on this one. I can say this, and real quick, we should have probably opened with this, but another congratulations to Bill Manning, RSL president. He was named the MLS Executive of the Year
Well,
again. This is, I believe, the second time since 2012 that he has received this honor.
good for
So
him.
I guess that's one of the reasons Garth couldn't get this job.
Right.
Well, so congratulations, Bill. All right, well, RSL Nation, whom do you agree with? Um, do you believe that the MLS draft is something we can completely get rid of and would not hurt the MLS overall and specifically RSL? Or do you feel it's a necessary thing to continue having going forward? Would love to hear from you, and we'll catch you next time around. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, guys.